There you go. Ooh,
Ilva
it's
and
over and Celeste. It's
Ilva
over
and
and Celeste.
Celeste.
It's
Ilva
over and Celeste.
I sure missed that red couch, but hey, it's okay. I'm on a brown one, red and brown. It go together too.
There you go. There you go. Woo, woo.
Yes. So hello everybody. It's Ilva and Celeste. And we are here today to talk about the topic for the day is blaming. The B
Yes.
word. That B word that we all do so well.
Hey.
And we want to encourage you to, instead of blaming, let's find
Mhm.
something else to do. Um, like maybe pray, pray, and maybe not about the person that you're blaming, but about yourself, So personally, it's so easy to get wrapped up into the blame game. Like if you're not a blamer, but maybe you're around people that, they always look for the fault in why something happened, you know. So
Yes.
maybe, and you find yourself doing the same thing, so immediately, I go into prayer mode about everything. But, I'm asking that, that thing be delivered from me. Okay, why am I blaming? Sometimes you got to go back to, where it came from. Because when you can discover where a bad habit you picked up came from, you can nip it in the
Mhm.
bud immediately and start to do something
Yes.
else. I know. So for me, I've been praying lately a lot, because I don't want to be that person that's saying like, why did this happen? You never know why something happened. And it doesn't have to mean that, that someone else is the fault. But I think we do it, Ilva. We as a human race do it because it makes us feel better. You know what I'm saying? It's something that that like I said, is in us. It derived from somewhere in our past, and it makes us feel better, when we can say, why did this happen, or this is your fault, or because of you, this happened, and it's unhealthy.
No, it's true. It's super unhealthy, and when you blame others, it's kind of like you want to shift the focus from you to this other person or thing, as a matter of fact. Because sometimes we blame not only other people but also things.
Right.
So we can blame a teacher, a spouse, the kids, your parents, because you are the way you are because blah blah blah. Now we're not taking away from all that, and I always say that because want to know that it is broader, just talking about us to at least, we always have to take responsibility
Yeah.
because the change starts with you. Yes, we're not minimizing blah, 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 XYZ, however, your actions, your behavior, it all at the end of the night, it's you. You can all not always be oh, well, I'm this because I'm not, there's always room for change, always room for growth, because it's either you get stuck like that because of XYZ, or you be like, you know what? Yes, this is because it happened, and yeah, let's whatever, but you cannot go all through life blaming others or blaming anything
Right.
or anything, like that, because it's the truth,
Yeah.
it's just like, the
Yeah.
what it is like, I don't know. It just, we got to take at the end of it responsibility,
Right.
responsibility
Exactly.
for that. So you
And,
can say, go ahead.
yeah, and that brings me to my next point. I'm glad that you said that, taking responsibility. Sometimes we take too much responsibility because, I mean, it's a bad habit to blame others and yourself. And sometimes, I'm going to talk about me, Celeste. When I feel like something is my fault or I'm the reason that a thing happened, consciously, not subconsciously, like
Mhm.
consciously, like it's at the front of my brain. I feel like this is my fault, so I have to fix it. And sometimes, you can stress yourself out trying to fix everything.
Right.
You're not the reason that something happened. Everything happens for a reason. It could have been the order of God, The order of the universe is why it happened. There's a process to everything. So, something happened doesn't mean that, oh my God, Ilva did this, or because Celeste didn't do that, then this happened, and then it's just a domino effect. Yeah, there's a domino effect, but you don't know, who is the cause or why it happened. Like, you don't know who the first domino, was, or who hit the first domino. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just not good to blame yourself or others. When things happen then we don't know why, all you can do is pray about it and keep it moving, because those type of things steal your joy. Blaming, oh my God. I mean, depression can come from anything, but when you a blamer, and when you let people, blame things on you and you go for it, you just go with it, that thing can lead to so much more. And that's like another class all by itself.
Right, right. Yeah, or you take blame
Can
for
lead
others
to
as
anger.
well.
Yeah.
It's like that shouldn't, because there is a difference between blaming others for everything that you do because of XYZ,
Yeah.
you blaming yourself for everything as well. No, we all have to, the same way you hold yourself accountable, you have to hold others accountable. But what I think, what we're saying is like, just don't go with that blaming, and find that, and then because blame then starts as to making excuses for yourself, as
Yeah.
to the why not, as to why I might behave this way, or I do that,
Yeah.
so it's just that, just the blame is just not, it's not a good thing, because like you're mentioning, Celeste, it makes, goes into a whole depression, anxiety, and other things going on that you just can't do that to yourself either, nor allow others to do that to you. Oh well, you da 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 da, so
Yeah.
yeah, you made a mistake. If it is your, if it's your, hey, again, you're not blaming, you're just taking responsibility, and then you just work from there.
Move on.
It's not the
Exactly.
point at always, you know, a, a pity party,
Yeah.
that's always saying, don't take out a pen, live in the blaming city, because we don't want that. We
Right.
just want, the whole point is to grow from that, from whatever it may be. But if it is you, if you're the one with the issue, if it's you, whatever it is, then it's good to go ahead and do a self study and be like, okay, hold on, why, you know this one here said this, and I remember a year ago someone came and said that again, so this could be something like that. So for you to do that, and it's going to be part of your growth, and that's it. And
Right.
I think every time growth, it just, as long as we are here, it should be that, just growth,
Right.
and it's not shaming, it's just the point of being like, yes, and that's it. I move from there.
Yeah. And the most important thing that you said, taking responsibility, like taking responsibility for an action that you did, and blaming is like two different things. Taking
Yeah.
responsibility is being an adult, and apologizing, or, not trying to fix the situation. Because if it happened, it happened, but just taking ownership of, what happened, praying about it and moving on. To me, that's responsibility. But
Yes.
blaming is just, you haven't moved on. You're just blaming. You haven't forgiven the person. You
Yep.
know, you're hating the person. Now you're hating yourself because you think, that you let it go too far. Like, it's two
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
So
And also sometimes you treat others because the way you were treated, and you blame that to your current situation, and you
yeah,
mess that up, and you cannot do that.
exactly. That's why I say go back. Go back to the first time, where, you were blamed for something, or someone blamed something on you, or you blamed someone for something, and it's all, a lot of things stem from our childhood, and if not our childhood, maybe early adulthood, So you have to investigate those things. And once you figure out, discover where it came from, it really no longer has a hold on you. There's so many things you can do now. You can write it on a piece of paper. You can burn that paper and, be done with it. You can write it in a balloon, or, use a balloon for an example. If it's forgiveness, if it's blaming, write it on there and release that balloon. out into the atmosphere, and that's it. Like, it no longer has a hold on you. So there are things that you can do. You can reach out to Ilva and me, and we can help you with anything. But since the topic is blaming, we can walk you through
Right.
how do you get rid of that thing, because
Mm-hmm.
it holds you back. It's a stronghold. It's what's got you shackled, in shackles. It's what's got you feeling imprisoned because of something, that happened. I talked to women in their 50s, 60s, a whole lot, like the year of 2017, and just the conversations that I would have with them, about things that happened to them, and they don't even know why they're mad, at their sister or their cousin. Like, things happened so long ago, you don't even remember, exactly what happened, but you still won't go home for Christmas, or you still won't be in the same room
Mm-hmm.
with this person,
Yeah.
and why I wouldn't want to leave the world like that, and I definitely wouldn't want that person to die on me and we never got a chance to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's just, and then you're going to hate yourself all over again. So just
Mm-hmm.
let it go. Like, you have the control, you have the power,
Mm-hmm.
of your strongholds. Pray about it, be an adult, and let it go. Like, I mean, you're probably thinking like, oh, that's so simple to just let it go, but it really is. That's all you have to do is let it go.
Yeah.
And then sometimes Ilva and I, we talked about this before, just talk to the person. If it's a person, just talk to them. Sometimes it was just a matter of a misunderstanding, and because it happened so long ago, y'all probably were kids or early adults. So you wasn't a real grown up anyway, but now that life has happened, things have passed, now that y'all adults and both mature, now let's talk about it. Because you still being mad at me about something that happened when we were 13, it's ridiculous.
Oh no, you can't. You cannot do that. It's just that you cannot blame a school for a teacher. You know,
Yeah.
um, blah blah blah. But what are we at the end of the night? What are we gonna do? Okay, let's figure this out. You know, transfer or something else or this and that, or just be like, you know what? Remember, it's always about them.
Yeah.
Because we always gonna, how they say, hurt people hurt people. People
Yeah.
that have always been blamed, they blame others.
Right.
And so and yeah, like so let's say it, and it's easy not because it's actually like, oh my goodness, but when you talk to the right people, let's say your circle and all that, if you're the kind of person that you talk and you let it all out, okay, and then you hear what others, or maybe that one or two person have to say, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then you just work through that because it's always, you know, work. It just don't sit there and that's it,
Right.
and don't be using that as an excuse. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Don't use you're 40, 50, 60, you still something so did to you when you were 25, 30. It's like, woof, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's not fair. It's not fair at all, so the blaming on all that stuff, it's like, no, they cannot have that much power over you that you still blame so for your behavior or your thoughts or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
it's just a whole transformation that needs to be happening. So when you find yourself blaming or someone may point it out to you, you always blame da 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 da. It's like, okay, hold on, then it hurts, but listen to that. Why does everyone, or maybe three, four, your circle always tells you that that's, you know, who you are, or you tend to do that a lot, or whatever it
Right.
is.
Right.
Because
Right.
life does happen, and you know what? It's a beautiful life, but sometimes life is like, oh, throws you some things, and you're like, oh my goodness, it hurts. It
Yeah.
could be after when you were a kid, young adult, and now it don't matter, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, blaming others or yourself all the time and everything is just not, it's not gonna do anyone.
Yeah. And it's so important to get rid of it, because you're not going to be able to, walk in your true life, your true self, live your best life, walk in your
Yeah.
calling, live out your passions and your dreams until you get rid of, some of those things. And it's going to be such a weight lifted. So I was listening to you conference this weekend, and I don't know where I got this from. Yeah, I think it was Pastor Amy. But those things that that are that that make you feel so empty inside weigh the most on you. You know what I'm saying? Blaming, unforgiveness, um, um, dislike for yourself. Like it makes you feel so empty, right? Like it just takes everything out of you. But at the same time, it's the thing that weighs down on you the most. You can't sleep at night. Why? Because you're still mad about something that happened earlier or 10, 20, 30 years ago. Like,
Right.
how long are you going to keep living with that? Really? That person has moved on. They probably don't even know that you're mad at them.
Right.
I've had conversations, with so-called friends of my own, and I'm like, wow, really? That's what you thought? Poor you. Like I have to give them a hug, or if we're on
Yeah.
the phone, if it's a phone conversation, I can't do that. But I'm like, wow, poor you, because I had no idea. But I apologize, you know,
Right. Right. Right.
for that, and I go on. So just think about that. You holding a grudge, and then this person, man, you seeing them on social media or you hearing about them, and yeah, they just as happy, and you just, mad and hating on their happy life because you didn't have that conversation with them. It's time to
Right.
reach out to some people,
Yeah.
whether it's your
Yeah.
girlfriends, family members, reach out to these folks and be like, hey, let's have a conversation.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
shared on Ilva Celeste probably on more than one occasion about, my issues that I had with a female once. And now we're like the best of friends. We stay in touch with each other. I happened to see her in Korea a few years ago, and it was like, wow, like, and it just took a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can, at the end of the night, you are your own person, whether it's the culture, you know, um, society is going to put a lot on you, social media. And we all get it because thank goodness for social media because now we won't be able what we do, you know. So there's
Yeah,
goodness on that. And yes, a lot of blaming, whether it's, you know, directly to you or just in general and all that. But it's like, how can we do better? How can we flip it around? And obviously, it just starts with you. We're not talking about saving the whole world at one time, but saving around first starting with you and those few around you, and that you have
exactly.
influence on, at least with that, and that's what matters. And yeah, still gonna be done this and that, but it's like the blaming on, oh, well, this is it don't matter. It doesn't, you know, uh, anything you believe in, any politics, any universe, anything, So we're not pinpointing at anything specific, but
Yeah,
it just it's hard, yeah. The end of it, it's like it's that. Do not blame others for your actions or behavior, and don't tend to blame yourself for everything that goes on. Oh, it's my fault, he or she. It's my fault. Also don't do that. Because
yeah,
you might have made a mistake. Like
right. That's good,
we made a
Ilva.
mistake. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? When I'm 45, at 40, I made a mistake because I'm not the same person, and everything like that. And thank goodness, is how they always say, look how far you've come. Don't look
yeah,
worry about don't look how much you got left, but look how far you come. You are
yeah.
not the same person who you were maybe a year, maybe 6 months ago. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
what has been your journey, but it's
Definitely.
that.
Real Talk Kim says that she says she love when people bring up her past, because sometimes people bring up your past and it takes you back to your past, and you're just like, like you can't move on from that. You don't even want to go home to the city that you grew up in, because people knew that part of you, but they don't know the new you. So people avoid friends from their past, but she said she loved running across people from her past, because as soon as they say, you remember when, and she be like, yep, but every day Mercy is renewed. Like, she's not the same person she was yesterday. She's not the same person she was an hour ago, because growth is what she looked forward to every morning. She wake up thanking God for mercy and grace and being a new Kim. So that's what we should do. Wake up every morning happy, thankful that we live in the land of the living, and start walking out your gift, because we all have purposes. And that's
Right.
all I got to say about that.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. It's just a choice. You got two choices. Either you get stuck in the blaming world. Hey, there's no growth. There's no nothing. But then, even though it makes you uncomfortable, remember that you grow in your uncomfortable situation.
Yeah,
It's
you
uncomfortable.
do.
It's good for you. It's good for you. That's it. And you have that choice as well. So
Yeah.
it's at the end of the night, it is up to you. It doesn't matter how much Celeste and I, psychiatrists, parents, teachers, anybody, and at the end of the night, is you who's going to want that. So we just here for you all the time. We're like, hey, it's not that we think it's easy at all. I
Oh
know,
yeah. This is
and
more
that's
for
a
us
couple
than
of
it
things.
is for
We
you.
always talk about it because of that, because we work through it ourselves as well,
Right.
So how can we be empathize and sympathize with others if we don't? So, but the point is that it can be done.
Yes.
It can be done.
Damn.
So there you go.
There
So
you go.
no blaming. Try it at least for 1 week. If you're that kind of a person, give yourself. You know what? In the morning or at night when you go, you're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And in the morning, reminder. Today we're gonna try not to blame the burning stove because, or the cup, whatever it is that try
Yeah.
that 1 day at least and see how that works for you.
Yep.
Nothing to lose.
There,
So
you got your homework. So
yeah.
comment, share, like, and let us know, how you like this conversation. If you need help walking through some things, we are here for you.
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you.
Ah, thank
Love you
you.
all. Good evening,
Bye.
good night, good morning, wherever you are, and we will see y'all back here next week.
See
Bye.
ya.